credit where it's due. You got to give it up to Angel Reese. She absolutely dominated the Indiana Fever. You see a stat line there. First rookie with 25-plus points, 15-plus rebounds since Asia Wilson, who's turned out to be pretty darn good in the WNBA. And it was Angel's relentless pursuit of the basketball that got the Chicago Sky back in the game and eventually won the game. I mean, she went right through Melissa Smith to win the game. Angel was a monster, a beast, any other word you want to use to describe it. And her competitiveness cannot be taught. Like she said, she's a dog. That is the word I've used to describe Angel Reese all season. She's a dog, but she said it herself. And it is appropriate description of her game. It is the appropriate description of her game. Dog. And she dominated. No other way to put it. And in fact, I think that Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark should both be on the Olympic team. Not just because it would help grow the game, and it would, and they're the two most popular players in the league, but because it wouldn't be a strange choice, right? Like, you can certainly justify their selection based on their production thus far. You can certainly justify it. Now, Reese was out there and did everything, and they will be on the All-Star team together, and that was actually something Caitlin Clark was asked about before the game, because the way it's structured, it's Team USA versus Team WNBA, and both Clark and Reese are going to be voted to Team WNBA. This is Caitlin said before the game.
A lot of hypotheticals. I think both of you would probably, or both of us would probably tell you, like, our focus is on definitely playing basketball, and if that works out for the both of us, great. Like, it would be a lot of fun. We've never played together, so yeah. I mean, I guess I don't really know what all goes into how they select the All-Star team. I'm new to the league. I know fan vote is part of it, but there's also a lot of other criteria. It's not just fan vote. So, yeah, I mean, she's had a tremendous season, and if that was to happen, I'm sure people would love it.
And I think people would love it, and they will love it when they get to see it, and they'll love seeing that connection between those two. But really, I think it was the heart that Reese displayed that changed things for the Sky in this game. Now, on the other side of it, there were issues for the Indiana Fever, who had been rolling coming into the game. So you don't want to make too much of what transpired in this one. But one of the stories was the lack of production again from the Christy Wallace spot in the lineup, and she was closing the game. Christy decides to close the game with Christy Wallace, who actually had a better game than she's had of late. She was 4 of 7, 9 points to be fair, but it just doesn't feel like she's putting her imprint on the game. She missed an open 3 late in the game off a pass from Clark. She missed a play where Clark put it up to her in transition that could have taken the lead down the stretch of the game. And when you have this team that's been consistently scoring the way it has from Clark and Boston and Smith, up and down to Mitchell, obviously, and then you get that spot from Wallace where it's 9 points, 7 points, 4 points, 0 points, 6 points, 5 points. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. So that's a move from Christy Sides that will be second guessed in this one. The fact that Wallace was in the game and playing in the game and playing those big minutes so late in the game. Obviously, this is a team that's looking to get Temi Fagbenle back, who plays a different sort of position, but I'm not so sure she won't be reinserted into the starting 5. You could have made a case. They did make a case on the broadcast for Katie Lou Samuelson to be in the game, maybe even in place of Melissa Smith there, who, again, got really manhandled by Angel Reese down the stretch of the game. And, on the Chicago Sky side of things, you want to give the winners some credit and continue to give them credit before you talk about the other aspects of it. And Camila Cardoso, 16 points, 10 rebounds. 16 points, 10 rebounds. That's a front court to fear. 25 and 16 for Reese, 16 and 10 for Cardoso. And then Kennedy Carter, another big scoring performance, 23 points for Carter, who really used what happened with Caitlin Clark and that whole ordeal sort of as a career jump-off opportunity, a coming out party, because she has been very, very, very good since. and is a super strong scorer. You know, she's a scorer. She can get things done. She can get things done. But I know people will be looking at the Indiana Fever side of things, right? And discussing what could have been done better down the stretch. How did Caitlin Clark almost seemingly get froze out down the stretch, right, of that game? And that's one of the things that I think you saw in this one is a lack of aggressiveness, a lack of direction, a lack of late game execution from Clark and the Fever. That's on top of the fact that maybe they wouldn't have even been in that position if some assists in the game earlier had been converted, because Clark was on a special playmaking run. Like this one right here, this was look at where Mitchell is. Look at the lack of separation. Look at the fact that Clark sees that before it happens. That is just extracurricular vision. Gets it in there. Extracurricular, that's after school. Extraordinary, I don't know. Extraterrestrial, something else. Very good vision. Awesome court vision from Clark, but Mitchell can't handle the ball. And Kelsey struggled to handle a bunch of passes down the stretch of that game. And that was one of the differences, I think, for the way that turned out, the way the results turned out in that game, because all the points are going to matter. Aaliyah Boston was the one who once again worked in strong unison with Clark and was consistent. Mitchell scored too, but she just didn't have a good game because of those dropped assists, because of a lack of a converted layup that I think was on a pass from Boston as well. And therefore, Angel and company rule the day, right? Angel gets to celebrate and take the victory lap. And it would have been tough for her probably to lose again and be 0-3 against Clark as rookies, but that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case, and you have to give the credit to Angel Reese, who was out there talking smack too, right? Angel was out there making sure people knew that this went down and that she was a dog, and you can't teach it. And she certainly dogged Melissa Smith in that game. Terrific performance from Angel Reese. So I'm sure there will be plenty of blame to go around on the Fever side of things. Christy Sides, Christy Wallace, whomever else, Kelsey Mitchell gets blame. But before we do the blame, let's give the credit and salute to Barbie for holding it down for Chi-Town, because she was special in this one. She was.